All right, so last night went pretty well, I would say. Started, don't have any issues, but there is one. Shouldn't say that. I did start and did have an issue. Guys, trying to make a video here. Relax. So started it, had an issue. My O2 sensor is bad. I'm almost positive. If not, I got a bigger problem. But it's just like pegged rich and barely responding. Now. Apparently there's like NTK sensors, which is what I run, but there's 2400 and 2402. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell the difference is, but some of my boys are telling me that they have the same LTC, the Motec LTC, and they've just gone to AutoZone and get the same NTK sensor, roughly, and toss it in and it should work. So we're gonna find that out right now. This is the state of the oil after running up to basically full temp for the first time. I want to take that completely out, drain it, just have a look at it, make sure everything is nice. And so far, looking good. So I've got all the oil drained out. It's kind of hard to tell, but you will have ever so slightly fine little metal shavings here and there because you have brand new parts that are breaking in. But other than that, oil was very clean, very clean. So got some new oil in there, new filter, and I think we'll be good to go. So tank's back in, nice and clean. Taking out the K&N that I had in there just for break-in and tossing in this Wix Racing filter. I've been using these. They're massive, as you can see. It's supposed to be really good, and they're cheap enough to not use on a regular basis. So the only reason why you shouldn't be using a proper filter. You don't want some shit that's going to collapse at like high RPM. Another thing to do that's good practice is when you have a new filter, especially one that's this big and holds this much oil, make it good practice to fill the filter first, just so that the engine's not running dry trying to fill up this filter and then also get started. So this filter holds like damn near a quart is what it looks like, probably even more. That wouldn't be about a quart. Let me not exaggerate. Look at that. With just the secondaries plugged in. Only. So this is me trying to fit the TCS bar, and listen, the fitment is honestly damn good. Like look at that over there. Look at that hole, right? I gave this a little smack with the mallet just to get that to be perfectly lined up. That was fine. Obviously we can't fit everything. Not every setup is the same. Mine's very custom. Turbo faces backwards, So what I'm gonna do is, you can see you get this little gap, and it's touching the housing. So what I'm gonna do, I already marked this with some permanent ink underneath. These bars, as you can see, are hollow, right? So I'm gonna smack the shit out of this bar here. You right. Here. I'm sure Ty would appreciate that from TCS. But I'm gonna bend it to clear the turbo. couple more smacks and we'll be good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Ooh, so exciting, isn't it?
Perfect. No spacers. Now let's just get that bolted in. So in an effort to just get more and more data, I'm upgrading to this Dela Cruz Motorsports just shaft speed wheel for the drive shaft, speed sensor rings. And the plan is I've been sanding to try to get this fucking thing on there, and I'm almost there, but my God, it's kicking my ass. So what I have here actually is, like, because the OEM MR2 has ABS sensor rings too, and they go through this hole, but these axles didn't come with them. The new ones do. These didn't. These are the drive shaft level 5s. So putting these on, they pretty much just sit right over here, and then you have the sensor that goes through that hole. In my case, I think I might have to do something a little custom, but I should have it. And yeah, pretty much just sanding the inner diameter of this and the outer of this, so I can get this squeezed all the way back. So yeah, wish me luck. I've been at it already for probably almost an hour. Bro, finally, an hour later, got this thing on here. Looks good. I can already tell you it doesn't line up with this hole. I think it sits on the outside of that hole. But that's okay, because I think I'm going to swing the bracket outside to meet it. So let's see. So, as you can see, this on the OEM sits in the middle of this hole. Here, not so fortunate. But that's okay. As long as it spins, I have two different brackets, one I got from Hux, one I got from Dela Cruz. They will both work. I can bolt in the hole here and swing the sensor outward to meet the actual ring. So let me actually get that, see how that's gonna fit, and pick one and see how it works out. All right, so first and foremost, I'm gonna drill out this hole. Is to basically slide it this way. There we go. And yeah, actually, I should actually line up pretty good. Actually, it might not. Oh, no. Gotta slide it a little bit, but yeah, I can do it this way. Let's see. If not, then might have to use the other one, the other guys. So as you can see, this is what the setup was before. You know, it did work, but it was just very primitive, and you're only getting literally the back of 5 wheel lugs. So the space between this Hall sensor and the wheel lug, you know, it would measure as it turns. Look at the amount of rotation you would need to pick up. You know, this is basically a tooth as far as the sensor is concerned, or the ECU is concerned. So one of the issues I was having is during the burnout, the front wheels would pick up faster than the rear, especially when I used to use the factory front LSD teeth with the Hall sensor. And it would pick up faster than the rear. The front would pick up faster than the rear, and they would use the front wheel speed for the RPM maximum. And basically, I would have no control over the RPM in the burnout box. So what that results in is basically doing burnouts at like 10,000 RPM. It's kind of hard to explain that to someone that doesn't really understand Motec either, because that's just kind of, you know, a league of its own in the way that it actually operates. So hopefully what happens is that I get back some of that control now by moving the hall sensor here from here over to the side and use, you know, what's probably, shit, I don't know how many teeth, you know, a good amount. And yeah, you know, we go from there. The sensor teeth to 30 in the ECU. It's already the same sensor, so all the sensor settings are the same. It is a hall sensor. Same input. So what we're looking for is the rear drive, which is this red. And we'll just turn this by hand. Perfect. Alright, so I finally finished with the front wheel speed, bringing that back to the way it used to be with the OEM ABS rings. And now, just finished this, which is going to be my master cutoff. So from outside of the car, you can just clip and you're good to go. Starting to get official finally. I've wanted a nice one of these for ages, and this one came out pretty good, not too expensive. And you know, on, off. Little race car stuff. You need this at the track. They will bitch and moan when you go through tech. So, yeah. It's the little things, man, the little things. Look. Working on these and hoping this is solution number one. Yeah, I'm telling you, considering what I had to bring the V numbers down to in the table, I don't know. I'm thinking that it isn't the injectors, but
that's unlikely, man. These are high quality units. They're not leaky. Usually, like when you have a leaky injector, you'd see like some type of drip when you're not applying, you know, power to the injector because it's pressurizing. You imagine using 2600 injectors back in the day?
10 years ago? I was just talking about this.
It would be insane.
I was literally just talking about this. I was saying how, like, I literally can remember when the ID 2000s dropped. And they had this video.
Were like, whoa, look at it, idling.
Yeah.
Stock B series in tech.
Ooh, look at that.
Usually when they have a strange, like a spray print, you can tell right away. But it doesn't look like it do.
Alright, so I promised myself that I refuse to race my car again until I got one of these. So if you're any real racer, you should know exactly off rip what this is. So this is a Hans device, and basically, you know, help save you from breaking your fucking neck if you ever have an accident. So just trying to have a bit more emphasis on safety. And boy, does that look good already. Oh yeah, this is nice. So these pieces bolt to your helmet, and the tethers, I guess, that they have here, which is pretty much these ropes and whatnot, just kind of keep your head and your torso engaged in the event of like an impact. And not just front impact either, side impact, rollovers. Supposed to be very helpful. Let's get this out of here, see if I can do that with one hand. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Yeah, your seatbelts go over this. And yeah, you lock yourself in place. These pieces right here attached to your helmet, to the tethers. That's what connects to these hooks. And yeah, pretty dope setup. Expensive as hell, but worth it. I don't think there's any investment that's worth, you know, more than your life. So it's perfect.